All right, Cowboy Nation, really appreciate each and every last one of you all. Thank you all for being part of this thing, man. This day is opening day, NFL kickoff. But I have to say this, Dak Prescott contract is near. There's already talk tracks of how much money he should get and what would be his outcome if they go ahead and pay him now opposed to betting on himself and things like that. I will say this. Dak Prescott, for the last 3 years that he's been here, is going into his fourth year. Been a blessing to us. Remember, I'm always going to give you guys this Nietzsche quote. Don't spoil what you have by desiring the things that you don't have. But one time before, the thing that you do have was something that you dreamed for and longed for. So I'm looking at this thing collectively, Cowboy Nation. If we can continue to just do the little small things, and everything else will come into play. Now, I will say this as well, Cowboy Nation. We must continue to do this too. As it relates to the aspect of Ezekiel Elliott, the snap counts. I do know a lot of people are saying that, hey, he should have this many snaps or he should have that many snaps. The thing is, the main goal is to just play. To play the football the way we're supposed to have it out there. And everything else will work out well. And I'm saying this because the reason being is, when you look at Ezekiel Elliott and you think about the Tony Pollards and you think about this offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, I think that Kellen Moore, and as well as with Ezekiel Elliott, will figure out ways to get the ball out to the playmakers. He's young, he's enthusiastic, he got all of those things that come into play. And then if you add in the fact that the main thing that I took from everything with Ezekiel Elliott this offseason wasn't even talking about the holdouts and stuff like that. It was more so to do with the interview that he had with my guy, Michael Irvin. Saying that when Michael Irvin talked to Ezekiel Elliott, he said, what makes this guy, Kellen Moore, different from Scott Linehan? And the main thing that he brought up was the fact that Kellen Moore listens. You see, listen, that's an underrated trait. When you have the ability to listen, I think that goes a whole lot farther than the aspect of saying that I know what I'm doing. I got everything in place. So that's what I like. That is exactly what I like. And when you start to think about this, when we start to think about this team collectively, we would say to ourselves, man, oh my goodness, wide receiver core is nice. Tight end, we got old reliable back out there. Who is Dak Prescott go-to guys in a pinch? And then on top of that, if you add this into the mix, the running back core. The moment teams get tired of sinking their teeth into Ezekiel Elliott, they say, man, now they brought out this other guy who wears number 20. So that's what I'm talking about. Bettering your best, and then of course, the offensive line looks good. I heard a statement that this team is the healthiest team that they've been in the last decade or last decade and a half going into the season. Now, injuries and, of course, suspensions always goes into the mix, but by us being healthy, it's a remarkable thing because remember I said this, regardless of whether or not you feel a certain way about the New York Giants or you feel a certain way about the Washington Redskins, they are all divisional games, and you got to win your divisional games. You got to. Those games count more so than anything. So it's one of those things where as we start off fast, we start off great, then that would be great for us all together. I see somebody saw the film sessions that I did of Ventel Bryant. He's a good possessive receiver. I think I saw some people say, "Why he's not starting?" No, he don't have the speed, nor he have the ability to get off from the jam. So he's one of those Will McClay's project guys that's going to be on the practice squad, and hopefully next year or somewhere mid this year, you can see some more of Ventel Bryant out there. But I'm going to go ahead and talk about this game right quick, and then I'll jump back to the Cowboys sports talk. You guys know we got to steal. Player evaluation is 365, but also team scouting and looking at teams that we're going to play down the line is very important. Extremely important because we play against both of these teams that's going to play today, Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. It is important for us Cowboy fans to take a look at that game and see what they do best, what they do bad at, and see how we can pretty much evaluate those talents and see what we can do in order to beat those teams. Because in my opinion, in my rationale, in my thinking, we should beat both of those teams that play today. We should. But I do know that we play Chicago towards the latter part of the year, and you just never know how things unshake from there. But I'll be paying very close attention to old Aaron Rodgers. You see if he can continue to deliver the ball the way he's been doing for the last several years. But football is always a fickle process. And one year you look at it, this guy like, man, he the best thing since sliced bread, and then the next year you look at him like, this guy is horrible. Let me know how you all feel about that as well. Sean might get sent to the practice squad. Yeah, since you got Ezekiel Elliott back, and since they talking about they would rather have experience, going back to Cowboys talk, as you guys can see, since you got Ezekiel Elliott back into the fold, and you really want Ezekiel Elliott to get anywhere from maybe 12 to 20 snaps. Yeah, I say the 12 to 20 snaps, not 12 to 20 rushing, but 12 to 20 snaps. I don't care what anybody says. I don't think that Ezekiel Elliott is ready for that physical contact. I just don't think so. And I would rather for us not to play it safe, but to play it safe, if I can say that. Just go ahead and slowly move these guys in, and then around week 3 you'll see the explosions, you'll see all of that good stuff that you see from Ezekiel Elliott. But I'd rather get a heavy dosage of Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott mixed in, but not all the way Ezekiel Elliott, if that makes any sense. Sean released the practice squad. Is he released already? Oh wow. They got rid of the guy already. Zeke on a pitch count. Yes, that's the best way to go with it. Put him on a pitch count. Bears are going to destroy Aaron Rodgers. Is it a away game or a home game for the Packers? Let me know. Because Soldier Field is always crazy to play at, regardless of how you look at it. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so we look at Dak Prescott, going back to his contract talk. Dak Prescott, it's in the right spot, because from a Dak Prescott angle, you would want Dak Prescott to get paid after Carson Wentz and after Jared Goff. You want to be able to see the playing field, and you'll say to yourself, okay, cool. Yes, they got paid this amount of money. I outperformed those boys in these factors, so I want to get paid this amount of money. Now, from a fan perspective, or from a people that love the Cowboys like you and I and everybody else that's in the chat box here, and shout out to all my Facebook followers, Tuesday Joe, Italy Joe, and all of you all that's there. My thing is, from a fan perspective, we look at it like, hey, if you'd have paid him earlier, he would have been got like 27 or 28 million. But if I'm Dak Prescott camp, I'm like, yeah, you saw what Carson Wentz got paid. You saw what Jared Goff got paid. Now pay me. And he's not a me guy. And that's the blessings of it all, right? You want guys to get money. A lot of people was looking at it like, hey, this is Ezekiel Elliott versus Jerry Jones. Ezekiel Elliott won that situation. When you start looking at the detailings of the contract, you'll say to yourself, Ezekiel Elliott didn't get brand new market rates or what have you. His average is still anywhere kind of north of 12 million, close to 13 million a year. It's just the fact that he got longer years within his contract, meaning that if you have longer years, of course it's going to look better for you. And then on top of that, Rocky Arsenal already came out and said, hey, we wasn't planning on missing week 1 anyway. So that lets you know there was a lot of fluff, a lot of bluff going on with those contract talks, and they get nasty, they get dirty, they get ugly, they don't look pretty. Contract talk always nasty. It's nasty. And people fail to realize, when I made the statement, either you can have the Super Bowl ring or you can have the money. Now, Ezekiel Elliott camp, they got into a situation where it looks good on paper, $103 million to a running back. Everybody like, wow, that's groundbreaking. But if you really look at the details of it, it's nothing more than a $12.9 million contract annually. The guaranteed money is cool, but you will want that guaranteed money if you're going to sign a brother to 6 years. So at the end of the day, if you look at Saquon Barkley's contract, that's a nice little deal that he got off his rookie year, the $31 million guaranteed. That's only a little less than $15 million from what Ezekiel Elliott got. So we look at contracts from a fan perspective, like, oh man. And then Jerry Jones himself, I still think that it's still a little muddy in the water with Jerry Jones and Ezekiel Elliott. News been reported today that Jerry Jones have not spoken to Ezekiel Elliott directly since June. That's a long time, and everybody else that's been handling these contracts been Jerry Jones people. They let us know that, man, football, man, we want players to get their money. We want owners to get theirs as well. We want everybody to get money and these sorts of things. But the main thing is that at the end of the day, we just want to see the sport. We just want to see the game. Look, I don't care how it's made. You know, some people say hot dogs taste great, but you don't want to know the process of what it's being made out of. You just want to eat the hot dog. You just want to eat the steak. Oh my goodness. How can we help out on the salary cap breakdown? Because they are saying it's going to be, we're going to be able to pay everyone. The salary cap, to break down the salary cap, it's going to take about 2 to 3 hours for somebody to really break it down thoroughly. Like line by line, precept upon precept type of stuff. Like when you go and read the Bible or the Torah or the Quran, or whatever you read, it's like you'll read one scripture and then 2 years later you realize that scripture don't mean that type of meaning. That's how this salary cap is. Meaning that once you realize to say, okay, I got $20 million left on this salary cap. Don't you know that they can stake that $20 million, call Tyron Crawford in, renegotiate his contract, stretch it out, prorate his signing bonus, stretch that thing out, or prorate a signing, whatever it may be, and restructure his contract, and you can physically turn that $20 million into $30 million just like that. And then on top of that, if you get in trouble with this, then you can call somebody else in. Chris Jones, of all people, you can call the kicker in, and the punt kicker in, and say, hey, you know, we're going to have to move your signing bonus here and prorate that, and then we're going to take the hash mark, the comma, and we're going to move this into somebody else's pocket. And then all of a sudden you're looking at this salary cap. Now you got $40 million because you cut 2 other people in the process. So the salary cap, to me, is an imaginary number that you can always move stuff around if you're smart enough and wise enough to do it. And good teams know how to maneuver that thing around. Can you imagine? I think the Colts next year got $131 million left in their salary cap. They can do a lot of things with that money if they really, really wanted to. But, you know, it's crazy. Like I said, I'm not a capologist. If anybody's smart enough and wise enough, NFL Network, I'm throwing them a bone. I'm throwing ESPN a bone. They will have a capologist. And that's all he do is talk cap. They'll bring him in and he'll just talk salary cap. He'll break down the numbers. That would be the best way for anybody to understand this salary cap deal. Because then on top of that, the crazy thing about it, like your salary cap, your personal check or your personal bonus can't jump by 30%, right? But the crazier thing about it is that next year, the salary cap increase anywhere from 15 to 20%. So meaning that if it's a $200 million cap now, then that cap is going to be even more next year. So it's an imaginary number, basically. And the owners know how to manipulate that thing to work out for their best. And that's just how it goes. So I think that this team can find ways to pay Amari Cooper, extend somebody else, and then pay Dak Prescott and extend somebody else, and then pay Byron Jones. It can be all possible. Yeah. And just like the manipulations to the nation for everybody on the Ezekiel Elliott contract, it's no different than paying Ezekiel Elliott $5 million more than the Todd Gurley and saying, okay, instead of you getting $15 million a year, you're going to get 12. But what we're going to do with the $12 million is that we're going to spread it out over 8. You happy with it? We can make you the highest paid running back in the NFL. You want a cookie? And then 3 weeks from now, or maybe next year from now, Gordon can get an outlandish contract from somebody that got a lot of cap room that blows that deal out of the water. And then when Saquon Barkley get his deal, boy, you think that $103 million contract for Ezekiel Elliott was cool? It could be well off to $140 million or $130 million or $115 million. That's just how it goes, Cowboy Nation. Shout out to you, Tom Jasper. Shout out to you all, man. Thank you all for tuning in. Like I said, tonight, what we want to look at, this is the main thing on both sides of the football with the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. We want to look at one thing. Can they stop the run? Can they physically stop the run? Now, if they just doing passing on both sides of the ball, I'm not worried about that. Because we are a run-first team. And if a team is not gutted and gritted and ready to stop the run, then they ain't nothing to us. They absolutely is nothing to us. Because all we got to do is then from there is destroy them. Yeah. Restructuring contract can happen. Yes, indeed. I can't see your name, but I see your comment, man. Yeah. Don't call Dak agent until he's ready for 32 to 35 million. Yeah. I think comfortably the Dallas Cowboys can give Ezekiel Elliott their contract, and then on top of that they can give Dak Prescott his contract will be right at 33, 34 million with I think 110 million guaranteed. Comfortably they can pay that. And then on top of that, this Amari Cooper, it's gonna be nasty, baby. Remember, Amari Cooper wasn't playing during his time last year for the Dallas Cowboys. So let that sink into your mental. Just let that sink in. All right, so expectations. I'm going to give you guys my expectation of this game before I roll out of here. Got a couple more minutes before I go. Expectation for week 1. Like I said, temper your expectation for Ezekiel Elliott. I don't want him to touch the ball too many times, but I still want him to get anywhere from 12 to 20 snaps. But my expectation is to see Dak Prescott to air this thing out. The Giants pretty cool, but I don't think that their DBs are like all of that. They drafted some guy, but I can't even remember his name. I don't think that he's just going to be like this lockdown corner that's going to shut out Amari Cooper. So just like when Tavon Austin took the top off the defense last year, look for this Dallas Cowboys to do the same. It's going to be a game that I believe that it's going to be a display of what Dak Prescott went through all of this offseason. We saw him throwing the deeper third balls. We saw him throwing the deep post. We saw him going through his progression slightly faster. And then on top of that, we saw this system of them trying to, in training camp, of moving Dak Prescott out of the pocket, getting him comfortable. And if you add in the fact that I believe that Blake Jarwin is better than what he was last year, so I think that that's going to improve too. And then you got a Cobb that's in the inside, who's going to be able to take away that inside for you. So I'm looking at everything like that. And then if you look back into what D-Law said on the defensive side of the ball, let's just put this in the crevices in the thoughts of our mind. Let's put this there. Think about this. For the secondary, this is their second year with Christopher Richard. You see. So this defense is going to be better. The front four is nastier because now you have more depths. And when you have more depths and you can create pressure into the inside, I think I did a film session on the inside interior pressure create more opportunities for your defensive backs. Meaning that mental clock for the quarterback, I got to get this ball out within 2 seconds. If I hold on to this ball for longer than that, these boys are coming. And trust me, this year, they know who the hot boys are, you know. And then the superb squad is there, you see. So it's going to be a lot of stuff that we're going to look at this game And for once, we're going to see the offense moving the ball down the field. For two, this defense is going to get more turnovers and takeaways. It have not been a game in 2019 that this team have not had a turnover or takeaway. I know it's preseason, but that stuff is contagious. Jumping the routes, taking the ball away from the opposition is contagious. Man, it's contagious. So if you add all of those things together, my expectation of this game, week 1, 28 points. That would be the lucky number. Remember I said this, Cowboy Nation. If the Cowboys average one more touchdown than what they had last year, they will be 5th overall in offense. From 22nd to 5th overall in offense, it's only one touchdown. And if we can give this team one more touchdown, I think that this team can get us 28 points this come Sunday. And this defense is just going to be lights out nasty. Let me know of your thoughts. Post them down below. Let's continue to grind. Let's continue to grow. The grind is necessary, Cowboy Nation. And before I go, I want to see y'all lovely faces down there at Lava Cantina this weekend. This weekend. Not next weekend, this weekend at Lava Cantina in Frisco or at the Colony. Just type that in onto your Googles or Google Map or MapQuest, Lava Cantina at 2 o'clock. It will be Cowboys Experience event. Me, Mark Holmes, we'll be live like 95 with your boy, Michael Gallup, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin. I think Drew Pearson is going to be there as well. We need to fight for him to get into the hall. The guy that caught the ball of the Hail Mary is not in the hall. That's unfair to life. Put that brother into the Hall of Fame. NFL need to stop pandering around with that. You can't tell me the story of the Hail Mary without the Hail Mary person that caught the ball. It's impossible. Look, we ought to ride the NFL Hall of Fame for not having Drew Pearson in there. You can't make a story or a reason why Drew Pearson is not in the Hall of Fame. I would want somebody to debate me the reason why Drew Pearson is not in the Hall of Fame. I'm waiting for that debate. I'm waiting for somebody to say, hey, Drew Pearson don't belong in the Hall of Fame. You mean to tell me you got the guy that caught the ball, the Hail Mary, that people are using to this day, and they calling it the Hail Mary, the guy that received the ball, and he's not in the Hall? Come on now. Come on, man. All right, Cowboy Nation, that's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. 2 o'clock this Saturday. Don't meet me there, beat me there. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's continue to grind. That's been my time. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Salute. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's go. Oh, you got 27-17? Nah, baby. 28. I don't want them to score no 17 points. Take that 17 off. No. I don't want no team to score no 17 points on us. No more than 13. That's the only points that I give the opposition. No more than 13, if you know what I mean. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's go. 28-13. Cowboys all day. Salute.